Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. It's Thursday. It's 7 o'clock Pacific, and it's time for us to start the show. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about marketing your WordPress niche with Twitter chats. So we're going to talk a little bit about some really interesting stuff. A lot of this stuff may go over your head, or it may be like, what? You can have a chat on Twitter? Are you kidding me? So if you're not somebody who's trying to market themselves, but you just want to find friends and just have people to interact with, we're going to talk about how to get involved with Twitter chats. But if you're somebody who really wants to market themselves, really get themselves out there, we're going to be talking about this stuff. So we don't have anybody else to be on the show today. So Bridget, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I am a self-proclaimed Twitter nerd. Huge. If being on Twitter is your thing and that's like Twitter 101, that's great. Following people using lists, that's like Twitter 201. Joining a Twitter chat's like Twitter 301, but hosting one's like 401. We're gonna get into some higher ed, advanced Twitter marketing. It's gonna be awesome. You can find me at bridgetwillard.com and givewp.com.
Nice. Bridget, always good to have you. My name's Jason Tucker. You can find me over at Jason Tucker on Twitter, and my blog is jasontucker.blog. I do a whole bunch of other stuff. Go over to WPwatercooler. You can see all the things I do throughout the week and all the fun stuff that's been going on over there. And tomorrow on WPwatercooler, we're going to be talking about how to manage events using WordPress, which is kind of a tacked on to what we talked about last week for WPBlab. We ended up having to take a week off last week. We just had way too many things going on with the holidays here in the US and all that fun stuff. So that's what we ended up doing. All right, Bridget. So let's talk a little bit about a Twitter chat. So I know what Twitter is because I've been using Twitter since like a couple months after it came out or a year after it came out or whatever.
Good solid 10 years.
Solid 10 years. And I know that there's a hashtag, and the hashtag is typically what kind of ties this entire thread together. So with Twitter, people love to invent various things that makes Twitter better, supposedly. And they come up with these things of like, I'm going to put in number 1/4, and then I'm going to do 2/4, 3/4, 4/4 to indicate that I have 4 thoughts that I'm trying to string together.
Yeah.
So those are these things that aren't built into Twitter. It's just this like idea that people have come up with, and we're like, oh, this would be an interesting thing. Well, hashtags were the exact same thing. Twitter did not come up with the hashtag, not at all. But the folks that did come up with hashtags were like, you know what? I'm going to use this as a way to symbolize that this is a tag that will be something that at some point somebody can search for. So as soon as Twitter came out with a search feature, that back in the day, they actually used to have a thing where you could follow a particular search and get like notifications on your phone about this thing. They started doing that, and they're like, this hashtag thing is actually gonna, work out pretty well for us. What can we do to do more with hashtags? And that's where this idea of Twitter chats came out, because it's like we can just everybody use the same hashtag, we can all search for it, and we can all interact with each other, right?
Okay, so I'll simplify it for you.
Yeah.
With a couple of analogies.
Please do.
AOL, if anybody remembers.
Wow. Let me get my CD. Where's the CD at?
I just threw it out like 2 years ago. 5.0. So AOL had these rooms, and they were chat rooms, and they were named, and they had names, right? So back in 1995, if anybody listening is old enough to remember that experience, it was driven by the room name. I never did, what was the other thing, like a BBC, IRC,
yeah.
BBS? I never did that.
BBS and IRC, yeah.
Okay, I never did IRC or BBS, but because it was just AOL for me, like, yeah, this is awesome. You can talk to people with a common idea. So that's basically what it is. Anybody's welcome, it's public. As opposed to AOL, you're not asking people if they're single or whatever. Okay, so
ASL.
So the thing is that the hashtag, and this is something that's really important. So as you said, hashtags were invented. Jeff Hester in the chats letting us know Chris Messina invented the hashtag. A lot of people see hashtags on Facebook from Instagrammers. Instagrammers use compound sentences and hashtags to be funny, but but then it confuses everybody, okay? A hashtag is a keyword, and it's used for search. And when you click on that hashtag, it filters the Twitter feed to just the tweets that have that tag, thus the term hashtag, okay? So in WordPress, we understand categories of tags. So it's doing the same thing as if you were on somebody's blog and you clicked on a category and you saw all the blog posts for that category. It's just for search. So for a chat is just a live version of that search. You're saying at this time, we're going to spend 1 hour talking about this topic using this hashtag. So a hashtag can be registered on Twubs, TWUBS.com, but no one can own a hashtag. The only way you own a hashtag is by volume. Nobody can really own it, okay? So that's really important to understand. So if you're going to start a chat, you're going to want to find a hashtag that nobody uses, which is the opposite of the advice I give for general hashtag use. So if you have an SEO chat, you wouldn't want to use SEO as your tag. There's too many people using it. It will not be filtered down enough. You might want my SEO chat or something like that. So when I started construction chat, I don't even remember when, 2015, 16, whatever. No, not 15 because I started working here. Probably 13, like that. It's still going. It's Thursdays at 9 a.m. I did CONST chat. Nobody else was doing it. It's still, nobody was doing any chat, okay? So the thing is, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, but look at the hashtag, okay? In the case of the chat that Give's doing, NP chat, there was Nathan Porter of WannaPixel was using NP chat for a live show on Facebook, which he still does. So I asked him if he would mind if I used it. Now I didn't have to ask him that, but if there's somebody using it that kind of gave it up, you could ask them. And then guess what? We're all working in the nonprofit world. We want to work together. Just don't be a jerk, right? But basically, you want a unique hashtag. You want to set a specific time. So just bare bones, starting a chat. Specific time every single week, 1 hour. You want pre-written questions. You want a hashtag nobody's using. And you want to be regular about it and kindly invite people. Like that's, like if you only have 8 minutes to watch the show, now you know how to do it. Why? Why do you do this? Okay, first of all, I'll tell you how. How much time does it take? Right now I'm doing NP chat, and it takes 3 hours of my time at least a week.
Wow.
Because I used to also post a recap and a questions post, which I highly recommend that you do that. If you can, post the questions at least 2 days ahead in a blog post, and then do a recap afterward. And I'll explain that later. But so you still have to come up with the topics. You still have to write 7 to 10 questions, or 6 to 10. I've been doing around 6. It depends on how long you think the answers will be. But 7's like the sweet spot. And then you have to write the questions in a way. Okay, writing the questions is the hardest part. Writing the chat is easy, okay? Because the questions, here's the trick about the questions. So I could not have a Twitter chat about hooks. I know actions do things and filters change things, and that is the end of Bridget's Twitter chat on WordPress hooks, right? I don't know enough about the subject to write questions that I know will get good answers. Do you understand?
I see.
So I could say, on this week's API chat, we're going to talk about the best APIs to write plugins for. And all I know is Yelp is kind of hard to deal with because that's what the guys say at work. I don't know enough about the subject. So writing the questions is almost reverse engineering a blog post. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You need to know the kind of answers you're going to get in order to write the questions that will give you those answers. So Bridget will not be hosting a Twitter chat
It's Twitter
on,
Jeopardy.
on anything that's developer-y. On JavaScript, I could say Angular or React, go. You know, but then I'm not going to be able to interact with them and say, well, actually, Angular is better for SEO. Well, actually, React is, you know what I'm saying? Like that, those kinds of things. It's not going to happen, right? PHP 7.1 plus or minuses. Like, what's so good about it? What? Tell me about this. Why aren't we really at 5.2? Which version lets you do namespacing? I mean, that's just not something that's going to be able to do. But for that was tricky with construction chat, because I had to go deep enough to get the answers, but I am not a concrete foreman, right?
Right.
Number two, who is your audience? So with nonprofit chat, I know that some people are running nonprofits, some people are volunteering with nonprofits. So again, it's like construction chat. Some people were social media managers, some people were the doers. You got to kind of know, what does your audience know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I could ask what's the best fundraising platform, and then maybe I don't have the answers. But if I get a co-host,
Right.
okay, so the best, and I'm still working on that right now with MP chat, but with construction chat, what I ended up doing is I had a co-host every week. So that's the person who's the expert. Now, their motivation is they get to be the expert and answer the questions. They write the questions, they send them to me, I publish them on the blog post, then I, as the facilitator of the chat, post the questions, and they answer them, right? So everybody answers, but they get to answer too. So a Twitter chat is a lot like a talk show, only everybody gets to answer at the same time.
And it gets crazy, chaotic, ridiculously fast.
It can, if you do not organize how you tweet them out. And this is why with everything in life, it's all about preparation. So I literally write out the questions. Q1, how are you involved in a nonprofit? Question mark, hashtag MP chat. And then when the chat happens, copy paste. Control C, Control V, boom, throw it in there, okay? So you're gonna want to do that.
But now that Twitter has good threading, is replies not a thing?
Okay.
And I'm asking these questions as if I'm in the audience and don't know.
No, I do not reply. That's what I say. I ask people, please don't reply. Like, it's because, first of all, that's what I'm saying. So I go Q1, how are you involved in a nonprofit? And then you answer A1, I work at a church, hashtag MP chat. So the A1 tells you what the question goes to, right? And the hashtag filters it. You don't need to reply. It's a waste of characters, and sometimes they get lost. When I'm running a chat, I have 3 windows open at least. I have twitter.com on my mentions, because people keep replying. I don't want them to, but they're going to do it anyway. I have tweet chat open, which is a Twitter client. Now there's 3 Twitter clients that people use: twubs.com, tweetchat.com, and tchat.io. I don't use it. Carol Steven uses it. I don't like it. If it doesn't look good to me, I'm out. And then I have my third tab I have open in my browser, besides the Google Doc tab that has my questions, is the hashtag search on twitter.com. Latest, not top. Because sometimes I just like to, because sometimes, you know what, you guys, Twitter chat clients, one day one works, one day the other one does. You got to have backups. And I'm finding that being in twitter.com with the replies and the hashtags is kind of better. So TweetDeck, some people use that for Twitter chats. I don't like TweetDeck at all, for any reason at all whatsoever. You can also set up a hashtag column in Hootsuite or in TweetDeck, or probably Sprout Social or whatever else you use. I use tweet chat. Tweet chat's the one I like. I've been doing Twitter chats for a long, long time, running them and attending. So that's what I like. But again, everybody has their own preference. So there's some tools for that.
Right.
The key about a chat client that's really good, Jason, is that it does add the hashtag for you. So you don't have to keep doing that. Now, James is asking a really great question in the chat. You don't lose followers this way? No, I do not. And if I lose them, goodbye to you. Because here's what I have to say. Number one, I always post hi tweet alert. I will be hosting such and such chat, or I will be attending such and such chat for the next hour. Somebody that is upset about my volume during 1 hour of the day shouldn't be following me in the first place. Also, they don't know how to use lists. So I don't know what to tell you. Like those people, I'm sorry. Like you shouldn't follow me. I'm too voluminous anyway. I felt terrible today, Jason, because I was not on Twitter for 3 hours. I was on conference calls and I missed. Gosh. I know 3 hours. I usually check every hour, right? So there's a risk and reward in everything you do, James. So maybe I lose a couple followers who are probably grouchy and probably were on the border and didn't like me anyway. But you know what really happens? I gain followers. And you know the kind that I gain? I gain the people that are actually on Twitter who want to talk and who are engaged. So grouchy, curmudgeon, Muppet guys in the balcony criticizing everything, those guys are gone. See ya. I don't know what to say. We got people who actually want to talk to you and engage with you and are totally in your niche. The best thing about Twitter chats, attending them and running them, is when you go to a Twitter chat, you are interacting with people who actually use Twitter. These are not robots. This is not having a conversation with a self-checkout machine. And those people follow you. So this is my other tip. If I am attending regularly a Twitter chat, like I really miss Buffer Chat. I just cannot be on it all the time. Buffer Chat is a great chat. 9 o'clock Wednesdays, Pacific time. WPBlab chat is great. 1 o'clock Tuesdays, Pacific time. I can't go to either one of those almost ever.
And we'll make sure to put those in the show notes so you guys can take a look at them.
They're great. They're great chats, and it'll show you a good way to run it too. Okay, so anyway, what happens is you get followers from those chats when you interact with the people who are also participating. What I like to do, and I did this with Buffer Chat, is I make a Twitter list called Buffer Chat. So me as Give WP running NP Chat, I made a Twitter list called NP Chat. And when a new person joins, guess what happens? I put them on the list. So again, if you don't know about lists, go to my blog, bridgetwheeler.com/Twitter lists. You'll find out why it's the best thing since sliced bread, literally. So what happens is, so then you have those people who are your super fans. You could go to that list and start engaging with them during the week. Like imagine this ridiculous concept of engaging with people who are engaged with you. But I find that these people who are really engaged on Twitter join Twitter chats. And so if you're trying to promote yourself in this niche, you want to be there. Another great chat is Impact Matters, Mondays at 4 o'clock Pacific. That's a good one. Another one is Twitter Smarter. But some of the bigger ones get busy. Now, a bigger chat to attend one, it might be good to get a few follows here or there, but that one gets crazy fast. Smaller chats, whether it's 10 to 20 people attending, means you have more attention for yourself. And the things that you share get more attention, right? So the main purpose from a strategic standpoint of attending or running a Twitter chat is to establish yourself as a leader or an expert in that niche, hands down. So
sounds about right.
It takes you, if you just attend, it's an hour. But if you run it, it's 3 to 4 hours because it does take time to prep. I'm going to be honest with you. It's worth every single minute. It is. Like, I'm telling you, the first one I did. So if you're going to start one from scratch, ask a few friends to like join you. Okay. And if you know some social media managers, they probably have some people that can help you anyway. So when I decided on March 8th, I'm going to do MP chat, this ridiculous idea that I had, I was doing it by myself, with myself, and I had 178,000 impressions. But I have nonprofit accounts. So it was not like a mechanic joining in. That doesn't make any sense, right? So that it made sense. And so I did a couple of dry runs. Well, actually yesterday, we had our biggest impressions ever with over 450, with about 800,000 impressions. With just a few, one person that has 450,000 followers retweeted something. Okay, so like sometimes that's all it takes. Then all of a sudden, some people are like, oh, this is really great. You know, I didn't even know about this. Right, well, because you have to keep doing it. The other advice is keep doing it. Don't give up. I almost gave up a bunch of times. I don't know why Jason Cannell had to talk me into it. You're like, doing a great job. Don't close it down. I'm like, oh, this is such a bummer. 4 people are showing up. But guess what? I fingers crossed, you guys. I sent a tweet to Giving Tuesday, and I said we would love for you to co-host in the summer on Giving Tuesday. And they said, DM us your email address and we'll chat. Of course, I had to say, you had to follow us for me to DM you. But could you imagine how epic it would be for Giving Tuesday to be the co-host? Cool. That would be so amazing, right? That's so sometimes all you have to do, you guys, is ask. So if you're doing a fitness chat, you know some people, just ask them. And here's the other thing. It doesn't always have to be rock stars. You guys could all start building your influence together, right?
Right. Or like Bridget did, where all of her personas were talking to each other.
That was
that's new.
I know. Single-handedly, I got 178,000 for 1 hour. For 1 hour of being online, answering questions. And what was really scary was how well I was talking to myself. So if I do go crazy, this is the episode that tells you why. So
oh man.
Yeah, no, I know it's it is crazy, but it's so much fun, you guys, because the live part of Twitter is the real part of Twitter. It's like going to an after party. Like for our audience, when you go to an after party that has a bunch of people, or even like a speaker sponsored dinner, and you get to rub elbows with all the cool people or whatever, you know, like your peers. Right? So it's so cool to be able to talk to somebody and ask them questions and find out what's going on about them. So, but to level up, to really do a good job, I recommend going the extra mile and doing a blog post 2 days before with the questions, so you have something to promote, and make sure you have a featured image. And then you can do that in Canva, or a lot of people know Photoshop. Our WordPress people are smart Photoshoppers. And then do a recap. Now, for the recap, what I do is, okay, so.
Because I was curious about this, because I like
the archive version.
Yeah, I want to program it up and come up with some crazy way to spit out all the stuff.
So here's a couple things. So I will give a major shout out to Oscar Gonzalez. He was a guest on DigiBlog Chat, and he did a recap on his own blog that I thought was really clever. So what he did was he put in the question, he put his answer, and he expanded on it because it's his blog. And then he put a couple of tweets in from other people. Right? So this is a great part about WordPress, you guys. And I think everybody forgets. We're so used to how great WordPress is that we don't even think it's great. Oh, embed. embed support, right? All you have to do is find the link of that tweet and throw it into the editor, and it will render a live preview, a live rendering of that tweet. And why that's great is your readers will see that tweet and they can interact with that tweet. They can literally press buttons on a tweet. This is why it's better than a screenshot, okay? You don't want to bloat up your media library. But
Right.
so what you want, so what you just put the URL in there, don't have any formatting on it. Make sure there's no, it shouldn't have paragraph tags or anything like that, you guys. Just the naked URL, and then it will answer. So what I do is I'll put in the question, and then I'll put about 3 to 5 tweets. And I'll say, what I'll do is I'll say, oh, this week on blah, 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 we talked about whatever. And maybe I'll put another paragraph in there that expands like some highlights. And then I'll go question 1 in a H2 with the question, and then 5 tweets. And then I'll do it like that. So I know that you're all asking, yeah, but how do you go find the answers?
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking, because this is the thing.
No problem.
Again, preparation, thinking ahead. So it's like cleaning the kitchen while you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner instead of waiting until the aftermath. So what you do is, when you tweet out the question, favorite your tweet or like it, whatever it's called now. Like your tweet, okay? And then people go, oh, you like your own tweets? Yeah, it's called bookmarking. Get over it, okay? First of all, I'm not gaming anything. It's a bookmark, okay? Naked tweet. Yes, I did say naked. Okay, naked URL. Okay, so here's the thing. So you press the heart, whatever star, whatever it used to be, whatever it is now. Like it, bookmark that, okay? Then when people answer with A1, 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 heart all of those, because that's super easy, okay?
Okay.
Then, and do your reply like, oh, that's so good. What a great idea, blah, 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 blah. While you're in your tweet chat. This is why you have all these windows open. It's
right.
a little bit of concentration. You cannot have Slack open. In fact, I tell the guys, non-private chat, Slack's being closed. Turn off the notifications on your phone. Shut your doors. Like, this is like, running this is lots of concentration. Don't call me. I'm not answering the phone. The house is burning. I don't care. I'm not moving. Well, I would, because I'm afraid of fire. But anyway, so the thing is, so you keep doing that. You keep favoriting them, right? So when the chat is over, while your mind is still fresh, don't do anything else. Okay? I've done this for years. I'm telling you. Listen, don't do anything else. No client calls, nothing. Block this time out. This hour for the chat and an hour afterwards. Maybe 30 minutes when you get faster at right-clicking. So go back to your Twitter profile. Go to the likes. And you could go backwards, and you'll see the Q1, and then you'll see all the A1s, right? Copy, right-click on the time, and go copy URL, copy link, and then paste. And then unfavorite it. This is really important because you already have it for what you wanted it for.
Right.
Then go back, save link, copy link, paste, unfavorite, copy link, paste, unlike, whatever. I'm sorry, unfavorite's going to be in my brain.
But what if your Twitter chat is just ridiculously, like, you just have like
pick the 5 best answers. You're not doing a whole archive. Nobody has time for that.
Yeah.
Somebody said a stupid answer, there's a bunch of repeat answers, make a decision. Like, you don't want the archive to be super long.
So if you were doing this with, say, a co-host or an intern or a something else, have that person be the one that is curating all the stuff, while you, being the host of it, would be the one kind of managing all this stuff. I like the idea of using favorites as a way to kind of say, hey, this is the one I like, and won't they get notified that it's been favorited? Or
yep, they sure will.
So that's
get notified that you unfavored it, so it doesn't matter. But it will be living in their blog, right?
Right.
So don't forget, you guys, that Google indexes tweets. This counts as text on your blog, okay? And so when it's done, you say, okay, so here's the other great thing about a recap, Jason. That motivates people to spend this hour. Oh, my answer could appear here with these other people? Yeah, And it also helps you get the co-host.
Right.
Because if they think their time is going to be wasted, they're not going to do it. So like what I'll do in the blog post with the questions is, oh, everybody, Jason Tucker agreed to co-host. I'm so excited. He's going to talk about the 3 best things for da, 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 da. And you link to his blog, do all the courtesy linking and all that stuff. And then, when you start the chat, hey, everybody, welcome. Thanks to Jason Tucker for being a co-host. Everybody give him thanks or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. And so everybody does that. And then, so I tweet out the question that you wrote, but you get to answer it. So if you're doing that in the recap, you're definitely going to want to include the answer from the co-host. Like, that's obvious. But I'm just saying, like, 3 to 5 questions is a good amount in a recap.
Right.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, see, when you and I were talking about this earlier, because I currently don't have time to get involved in any of these Twitter chats, and there's a ton of them. There's church IT Twitter chats, there's nonprofit chats, there's all sorts of these Twitter chats that are going on all the time, but I just haven't found the time to do it. So I haven't looked at how these archives are set up or this sort of thing. But one of the things I said to you was like, it'd be awesome if you actually had like a blog post that's an archive that, like you said, we'll use embeds to just embed the URLs in there and you're good to go. I'm like, oh, well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And,
there's a couple alternates. Okay. So I will mention Storyfy here, but again, I don't like it and it's not on your web property. So
right.
If you spend that much time, it's not on your web property. I say that's stupid. Okay. But if you don't want to embed the tweet because you don't like how it looks, there's another thing you could do that I experimented with back in the day when I was doing construction chat. You can copy the person's answer, then write their name and link their name to that tweet. If you don't want the tweet embedded for some reason, because it renders as words. Yeah. Like you can see when it's loading that you see the words and you'll see them in quotes. And then like if your website is slow loading, you'll see the words in quotes and then you'll see it render as a tweet. So you know that it's looking at it as words. So I would definitely also make a different category on your blog that's only that, NP chat or something, so that people can filter those out. But that is another way if you want it to look better. Right. You can write their name like Oscar Gonzalez and then highlight the Oscar Gonzalez and make that a link to the tweet. It takes way more time. You have to copy the text, paste the text, da-da-da. I like the tweets because then people can follow those people right there from your They can interact with the tweet on your web property. Which means and there's even on site.
Yeah.
High time on site. I will just say you will have a high time on site. I'm going to say above 2 minutes, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah.
I mean, there's some plugins for WordPress that would help out with getting people to follow those folks in that archive. So there are some Twitter hover card plugins. There's the official Twitter client or official Twitter plugin that has that. There's third-party ones that have been made that will also make the hover cards. And the hover card typically detects if there's an @ sign and then the person's name, then it will take that and say, oh, this is a Twitter thing, and then they'll do it. Other ones that I've seen require it to actually have the https://twitter.com/ the person's name, and then to see that and then make it so it's a hover card. So there's a whole bunch of those types of things to be able to make it so that you're helping the folks that are getting involved in the hover or getting involved in the Twitter chat to be able to follow them, like them, whatever. Which is what's nice about doing the actual embeds, those O embeds, is that you have that in full box that has all the stuff in there. The only thing is those boxes aren't very customizable, so you can't shrink them down. You can't make them a little bit nicer and easier to work with. You can't remove any of the branding. It's way difficult. It's just a bunch of iframes essentially of just here's all the posts. Also, all of those need to load. So if you've curated like you said, the top 5 of each one of those questions. That's pretty cool, because then the question is going to be some text, and then the Twitter chat, the person's reply, or not reply, the person's answer will be listed in there as well.
Yeah, and I would recommend using H2 tags for that. And if you want, like sometimes what I do is H2 tag for the question, and then below that I would, like if I wanted to level it up a little bit more, I'd write a little bit more like my own answer.
Right.
And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, next. Because you want words. You want words on your blog.
Yep. Another techie type thing that I would suggest if you wanted to try to pull something like this off and do it in more of a quick way of being able to pull in, say, all of the tweets that were favorited. So you went through and you did all of your curation, and now you just want to grab all the tweets that are in there. There's a project on GitHub. It's called T. It's a letter T. It's made by a guy named Sferik, Sferik, and he makes this thing called T. And what T does is it's a Twitter client for the terminal. So you load up the terminal window, and you type in, tweet or T space, and then whatever you want to tweet, and you'll tweet as that, just in that little window. But there's a bunch of little search terms and stuff like that, and so there's some pretty interesting things you could do to kind of pull this off. So for instance, if you wanted to get like a CSV file of all of the tweets, you could do something like that, and it will make a CSV file of all the tweets called MP chat that were hashtag that. Wow. And now you can put in Excel and move all the stuff around and come up with whatever URL schemes you need to have for twitter.com/person's name/ the Twitter ID, which is what you're going to be putting into. So you could do that sort of thing if you wanted to JSONify it, if you will.
Well, I'm sure people are wondering about reporting.
Yeah.
So
because you said that earlier, like, oh, well, I got 9 zillion blah blah blahs and all this engagement, and
so there's some tools that are expensive, and I don't pay for any of those. So what I do is I just use the same tool every week, so that way I know what, at least it's a benchmark, right? I use I use tweetreach.com, but you can also use hash tracking. Tweetreach.com will give you statistics for the last 100 tweets. Okay.
Oh.
And you can download the PDF. Okay. And so what I do is I have a folder in Google Drive called MP Chat Reports. And I take screenshots in that PDF, and it will say the contributors, the impressions, the timeline deliveries, the top retweets, the impressions per contributor, and then like the list of the last 100 tweets. So if you have a busy chat, my friend Carol Stephen for DigiBlog Chat, she runs that at midpoint. I run it at the end. So at the end, I'm getting the last 100 tweets. But that's a good way to kind of benchmark what's really happening. Now, for me, I don't care about impressions as much as I care about number of people attending.
Okay.
And I want the, that's why I do the list. Sometimes you have to remind people, if you're tweeting people, like sometimes I'll say, this week is about living a generous life, which is what it was last week. And I'll go CC, and I'll maybe copy like 3 people that are regularly there or usually there. And another thing you can do is you can ask people from your community that you're building, what topics would they like to talk about? So Beth from Adventure Photoglass actually said, well, what about getting and maintaining volunteers? Because she works with Rotary. So she knows that there's a lot of trouble with volunteers. How do you get and keep your volunteers? So I said, this week's topic on how to get and keep volunteers was suggested by A Photo Studios. So, or Venture Glass, she's both, but I don't remember which one I tagged. I tagged her to give her credit. When you ask people for help, give them credit, right? So Definitely. She put it at 10, but she's like, this is great. if you're a part of a Facebook group that's part of this topic, then you can tell them, hey, this week our topic is whatever. So I'm part of WordPress for Nonprofits. So I said, this is our topic. We'd love for you to join us, right? The tricky thing about Facebook is sticky. So when you're promoting this, you can't just say tomorrow. You should say the date and the time, because Facebook goes up and down depending upon how many comments something gets. What I would not do is start adding people and say, join our chat, join our chat, join our chat. That just sounds desperate. Nobody wants anybody to be desperate. I do recommend putting in your bio, if you host a chat, that you host such and such chat at this time, which I've done with Give WP. We are the hosts of MP Chat Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. I did that right. Twitter.com, Give WP. Please say yes, because I just told the whole world that's listening. Yes, the best online donation and fundraising WordPress plugin, hosts of MP Chat Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, democratizing generosity. Okay, so definitely put that in there, because when people click the hashtag, if you notice this, when you click a hashtag, it will suggest people, right? So if I click on the MP Chat hashtag, what people is it suggesting for me? Let's go look. Not us. Well, you suck, Twitter. Okay, so there's social media for the most impact, SM4NP chat. I guess you could have a Twitter chat. You could have a handle. I'm not getting a handle. Doing the chat is enough. I'm not getting another handle.
Yeah.
Some people do that, okay? You can do that. I'm not doing it, okay? But I don't want to run another Twitter account to build my Twitter account. To me, that makes zero sense. But if you're a business and you want to attend as a person, which I do, because me as a person helps nonprofits, I just open Hootsuite and I answer from Hootsuite. But the questions come from the brand that you want to build, okay? That's the person who should be asking a question. That's the person who should be the host. So promoting. There's lots of ways you can promote. So when I did Instagram for nonprofits, guess where I promoted it?
Where's that?
Instagram.
What?
I did a video and I put it on Instagram. Hey, Instagram nerds, come and join, right? So when I'm talking about LinkedIn for nonprofits,
yep,
I put it on LinkedIn, right? So you can use Facebook Live. I found that that's actually kind of interesting. People really participate in Facebook Live, really like me. I don't know which one is true, but it seems like I'm like, wow, there's more people here than I expected. I just thought this is an easy way to get the video on my profile. But you could say, hey, tonight or tomorrow or in 1 hour, we're going to do this and this. We'd love to have you, blah, 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 right? So even if they can't join then, maybe they'll put it on their calendar. A really fancy thing to do, which I'm sure could be Jason-fied, is in the blog post to make some kind of blue where you click on it and it automatically adds it to your calendar.
Oh yeah, you can totally do that.
I'm sure there's a plugin for that.
Yeah. Well, you could even just go into Google Calendar, make your calendar entry, share the calendar entry, get the URL, and then paste it in there.
That's even better, because I don't know why people say, oh, I always forget. Put it in your calendar. That's the best way to remember. I mean,
definitely.
I literally, and I write it in my paper calendar. I write it in my paper calendar because that's what I'm looking at, because there's too much going on in my life. And I have it on Google Calendar. You know, I don't want to forget. I don't want to go, oh, yeah, the 31st. Yeah, I can do that at 10 o'clock. No, I can't. 31st is Wednesday. Wednesday at 10 o'clock, I'm busy from 10 to 11 in MP Chat, right? So you have to make that time, and you got to figure out a time that you can always attend if you're the host, right? So try to figure that out. But promoting it, the best way is the blog post. That's ideal. It's not always feasible because of time or whatever else, resources of some kind. Otherwise, I would be posting it in relevant groups, not in a spammy way. I mean, here's the thing, and we know this to be true, right, Jason? You have to give to get.
Yeah.
So if you're a giver, people are more inclined to help you, right? So if I participate in other people's chats, are they more willing to participate in mine? Yes, or whatever, right? Now, it doesn't mean they can, but sometimes people go, oh, I wish I could go. I'm just going to retweet this for you because I like you and you're nice. That helps, right? So being a generous person, you know, going back to the culture of WordPress and what makes it special is the generosity that really embodies and encapsulates all we are, because instead of writing proprietary code, y'all are writing things that are GPL. You know, it's amazing to me. I'm still amazed that you're doing this. So a little bit of generosity goes a long, long way, you know. And I wouldn't ask for people to volunteer to be a co-host. I would ask them personally if you can. Like I'll always say, oh, we're always looking for co-hosts, but that's more like so they know I want one. But sometimes just asking somebody, especially somebody that's always there. Hey, I noticed you're always here. Is there something that you would like? Just like a meetup. I noticed you're always here. What is your passion? I would love for you to participate. And they go, well, I don't know how to do this. Do you have 10 questions? I'll help you. Like sometimes, like, because what you want is that person to be there to answer the questions. Right? So that's, you know, that's the thing is once you start to get to know this, then what's happening is everything that we know in WordPress, building community, you know? And building community is important for a brand, especially in this space. And referrals are huge, whether you're a freelancer or whether you do work on the side or even a plugin shop. I mean, I'm at Women Who WP. Somebody says nonprofit, they go, oh my God, you have to talk to Bridget. Like, they don't have to talk to Bridget. We just have a plugin that's for donations, right? But that's already happened in people's minds. Oh, nonprofit, you have to talk to Bridget. Nonprofit, you have to talk to Bridget, right? And so some people say, well, how do I get work? What's my thing? I don't know. What is your thing? What do you do? Like, sometimes you read these bios of friends, people I love. I have no idea what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you want to be hired by your local people, you have to explain to local people what you're doing. That episode we did with Ross, where he goes to the Chamber of Commerce's, that was epic. You know, because
now he has an addiction.
I know. He has too many chambers. You got to cut back. We're going to have intervention. But that's the thing. It's like you have to be able to communicate what you do to the people who need your services, not to your peers. You are not your audience, right? So, like, figure out what your niche is and then start, you know, if you don't know what your niche is, start listing your clients. What are the common threads? Is it you do websites in Whittier? Is it that you work with nonprofits? Is it that you do brick and mortars and you specialize in the restaurant industry? Like you're a really good implementer of Open Table Widget or something like that? You know, like what is your thing that you're doing? Shameless plug for a plugin. By WordPress.
Makers of other such great products.
The thing. It's so funny. Like I made reservations last week for a restaurant that had Open Table. I'm like, these people need Open Table Widget because I had to go off into Open Table. It was lame. Because now that you know that what you can do, right? Then you have this possibility. But that's the thing. It's like understanding the things that are in your space and being able to go, hey, I really love your website. I think we can make a little bit better by doing X, Y, or Z, or whatever it is that your thing is. Like if design is your thing, maybe design chat, right? And the thing is, nobody at WordPress is hosting chats. I don't see them at all, except for me. And Jen tomorrow is going to start doing WP Biz Chat at 4 p.m. Fridays Pacific.
What? Oh my gosh.
Jen from needsomeoneToblog.com. So if you have nothing to do at 4 p.m. Pacific, or you just like Jen, join her chat, WP Biz Chat. So, I mean, I don't see a whole lot of chats, and they're great ways to engage your potential current audience, your current customers. There might be chats. I don't see them.
No one's telling us like, oh, you know, they're not like doing a WordCamp talk where they're like, oh man, we're doing this Twitter chat and blah, blah, blah. It's usually just a bunch of WordPress folks that are just talking to each other. And you end up with this like thread of people that start,
yeah,
either piling on or they're actually,
chat or dev
right.
chat or PHP chat or like what kind of breaking changes are happening in PHP today. You're like, what's deprecated this week? This week on PHP chat, we're going to talk about deprecated code. What functions are happening and what are not. What is so 1994?
Oh my gosh. It's like the oh my goodness. Yeah. Deprecated functions obituary type of thing, Let's go through the list.
Give us a good code. Everybody plays tap. Here lies deprecated code.
Yep. Throw the boat. Push them off.
He was
light on fire.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Oh man.
Oh man. He always used to make us laugh.
Hey Bridget, one of the things I've been kind of looking around in this regarding if your Twitter account has the type of followers that are doing the thing that you're trying to, are doing the thing that you're trying to get your Twitter chat going. I was looking on, have you ever looked at analytics.twitter.com?
Oh yeah, I'm in there weekly, every Monday.
It's insane. Like the amount of stuff that's in here. I'm going here and I'm like, oh wow, all my friends make way more money than I do. That's great. And all my friends are married. Oh, check that out. 56% of my friends are married. Oh, look, they all completed high school. That's pretty interesting. Like you have all those sorts of things in there. So I would even suggest looking at that and seeing, is your Twitter account, the Twitter account that you're going to be running this thing on, are they involved in home cooking and grilling or fresh and healthy or ethnic explorers? I don't know. Weight conscious. There's like all this like stuff that's in. Apparently all my friends like food. I don't know. But looking through this stuff to see like, is this Twitter account the one that you should be doing this on? Because everybody else is looking at you going like, he's all into comedy stuff or marketing stuff or whatever. And I don't think this is a good fit. So you may want to look at that too.
Well, I wouldn't run a PHP chat, but if I was doing it as, a plugin developer, actually that would be a really good chat. Nobody's doing that. But if I was a plugin developer, you want like WordPress, like Give wouldn't be able to do that, right?
Right.
But WordPress could have PHP chat.
Definitely.
And they could definitely do that because that brand is a plugin shop, right? So plugins in WordPress are using PHP, right? So that's the thing. Or I couldn't do a chat on SEO as me, but Yoast could do a chat on SEO.
Yep.
So the thing is that you're probably not going to do a chat. You're probably not going to run a chat. It's different to a 10, but you're probably not going to run a chat that's so far out of your, right. Or if it is, maybe you need to pivot your career. Maybe, I mean, because it's fine to lose followers. It's not that big of a deal, but you're not going to lose that many. But the thing is, those analytics, I think, come from who you follow too. So a lot of us follow tech magazines and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm not really sure how much of that information is 100%, but it's pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, you can experiment, but I would definitely, the other thing is about the commitment. Some people say it takes up to a year to do this. And I started getting pretty good attendance about a month in, but but you can't stop promoting it either. You have to promote it every single week. People need to be reminded, right? So yeah, I mean, if you started doing a Pinterest chat, that would make no sense, Jason. But then also you wouldn't do that.
Right.
But if you start doing a podcast chat, that's right up your alley. Yeah. I'm not saying that you should. I'm saying it overlaps with your audience. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. It makes sense. Oh, Jason, it's not like Jason's doing a chat on rainbow unicorns. What the H? Nobody's right. It's not way out of. But you have enough overlap where like podcasting, gaming, Pokemon chat, like that makes sense. Walking, little dog chat, like whatever the things that you do, we all know that you have these interests. You're a whole person, right? The people who expect your account to be one-sided and one-dimensional, those people need a reality check. They also need Twitterless. So, but we understand that Jason as a whole is interested in more than just one subject matter. And a brand can be that way too. But I would hone it to like 3 things, So.
No, I think these ideas are cool, and I think that people can do some really cool stuff with it.
I mean, I've been to Bible study chats. Those are fun. I mean, but I'm not running it, but I'm going to as my other account, right?
Right.
Buffer chat, construction chat, impact matters. I love leadership ones. It just depends on what your subjects are. But if you are a business who's focusing on the music industry, then you're going to want to be in one of those chats, right? Maybe you're not hosting it, but you're going to want to be there, And so that's the thing, is like, whatever it is, figure out what your niche is, figure out how it fits into your marketing goals, right? We always want to have marketing goals. Dedicate the time to do it, right? Dedicate the time. And then write the questions. Come up with a list of, so for me, what I did was I repurposed content. So last year, I was blogging like a crazy person, right? Well, I have a Nonprofit 101 series that has Facebook for nonprofits, SEO for nonprofits, Instagram for nonprofits. Guess what my first topics were?
And guess which link she probably put in there that sent them to the thing that explains them about the thing.
Now you're doing inbound links. Now you're doing internal linking from the things that you blogged about last year. Definitely use the content you've already written, because that's a great way to repurpose your content.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean that, and you've already done all the hard work. And now you're probably going to go and say, oh geez, some of the stuff's out of date. Maybe before I post it, I should probably get into that account and talk about blah, 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 blah. Because now maybe Twitter 140 character thing doesn't have anything to do with, replying to somebody or whatever it is that you got to go in there and kind of polish up. So, oh, darn, now you have to polish up your posts.
Oh, which is great for SEO, because now it's fresh again.
Yep.
Submit that, fetch that as Google.
Exactly.
Boom, drop the mic. You're like, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. You've already written the content. That's the thing. And you did all the hard work. Now I'm going to things I haven't written. But it doesn't mean that we haven't talked about it or haven't written on the side or whatever like that. And sometimes people give you ideas. So be open to the ideas. But you have a foundation probably, so if you're looking for ideas, look at the content you've already written. You already are an expert. You already know these things. You pitch it all day long when you're trying to get work. Just do what you know.
Yep. Bridget, guess what? It's 7:58. It's time's up. Hanging out with us and being a part of the show, hanging out with us in the chat room, kind of doing, talking with one another, pitching a couple little ideas and stuff to us. We really appreciate that. Correcting us when we're wrong. That's always awesome as well. I want to say thank you for the folks that are helping us out in our chat, helping us out in our Google Doc, getting all of those things together. I could not do a good Google Doc of us talking about this stuff. It's not something that I'd be able to do. And so I really appreciate the folks that help us out with that. So Cheryl and Sherry, I appreciate that. James, you're hopping there once in a while and help us out as well. I appreciate that. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Go over to our website at WPwatercooler.com/WPBlab. That's where you can find out all the information about this particular show here. We have 2 other shows that are on the network. Feel free to go take a look at those as well. Go over to WPwatercooler.com and you can see all the list of all the shows there. These shows are available both on YouTube as well as on SoundCloud. So you can take a look at all of those there, and there's subscription buttons for everything. And you can find all those at WPwatercooler.com/subscribe. Bridget, is there anything else we need to add at the end of this? I'm always the one talking at the very end, and you never get to say anything other than bye.
You know what? If you say no to yourself, you're the only one saying no. All you can do is try. I tried it. It was a crazy idea. It's been the best. Why not try something crazy?
Definitely. So do something crazy and hit subscribe. And hit thumbs up if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. I'd appreciate that as well. One last thing, folks were asking about how they can leave comments onto our website. Comments are now working again, so feel free to leave comments. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.